Okay, after my last video where I tried experimenting with the DD netted hammock, which is designed for kit storage, but you can use it for sleeping on in emergency cases. I mean, I've known people to pack them as an ultralight section of the kit in a sort of survival kind of situation, just because it takes up hardly any room. It doesn't really weigh much, but it's not ideal for sleeping on. Hence the reason why DD say it's not designed for sleeping. But I'm going to be setting up my usual hammock setup between these two trees here today in one of my local woods, and try and show you the knots I use for it and the methods I use for hanging the actual hammock itself, and hopefully it'll give you some ideas or help you if you're new to hammocking, and we'll see how it goes from there. Okay, thanks. The first part of the setup that I put up is the ridgeline, just because it's better to get your tarp up first, so if it does start raining, at least you've got something to sit under or continue setting up under, or put your kit under or whatever. And the first knot for the ridgeline is just an E-bank hitch, which is, well, I'll show you this way, the right-handed way, which is put your cord round the tree and just about head height, or just above head height is ideal for this sort of height of the ridgeline. And the E-bank hitch, as you've probably seen in other videos, you get the free end, the working end, and you wrap it round your hand once, then you bring that up and around. Don't know if you can see that. I'll show you a close-up of the knot in a moment. And then you grab the loose end, pull a bite through that loop that you've just made, and pull the knot tight there. Push all the knot up and dress the knot properly, and it will spin round when it's tightened up. And then slide that down to the tree, and that's your first knot. And I've said it before in my other video, and what I normally do is I leave a loop tied at the end of the ridgeline, one end of the ridgeline anyway, just to wrap that around the tree, thread the free end through it and take that off, so it saves tying this knot. But this is another alternative that I have used at times, but I don't normally use it. But that's what that is, and I'll do that shot for you close up so you can see the knot and how it's made. Okay, so here's your working end. That goes behind the tree from the left to the right is the easiest way, and there you'll have the working end and the main ridgeline itself. Now this working end, you want maybe a couple of feet spare to work with, so it doesn't matter, it depends how long your ridgeline is and if you've got a spare. But you need a loop on the free end. Make a loop by wrapping it round your hand once, so it looks like that. Then point your fingers up on the left hand side of the ridgeline itself. So this is your free end, and it's gone underneath the ridgeline. And then with your fingers, take the free end, make a little bite, a loop, and pull that through the loop you've just wrapped around your hand as you pull your hand out of the loop. Then you tighten all that down, like so, and that is the E-bank hitch. It's a quick release knot, so you just have to pull the free end and it will all come undone and come off the tree. Okay. One of the other knots I use for the other end of the ridgeline is the trucker's hitch, which is good because you can get a lot of tension on the line. And the same as before, you go round the tree at about the same height. It doesn't matter if there's a slight fall on the line, because That'll help any rainwater run off. All of this cord around the edge. So there you go, loose end, and you've got the, I'll move that up a bit, the main line up here. Now with the main line, what you'll need to do is make a slip knot in it by making a loop like so. I'll just drop the little free end for now, but you make a loop, I'll show you closer up, like that, so as if it's just wrapped around a stick or your wrist or whatever like that, and with the end closest to the tree you take up through the loop and back towards a tree, so it forms a knot similar to that, which is a slip knot. So it looks like a loop in it and knotted up, but if you pull it, it comes undone. So that's a loop like so, and the end closest to the tree goes through the loop, and so there's like another loop going up. There's your loop, another loop going up through the loop, and that goes back towards the tree. So, and then the free end goes through that loop all the way through. And you use that, it works like a pulley, so when you pull on it, it really puts tension on the ridgeline. I'll just show you that knot a bit closer up, the slip knot part, which is the loop, end closest to the tree, up through it, and back towards the tree, like so. And then your free end comes through, and you feed that through the loop that you have now. And you'll see as you pull it, it'll tighten everything up. And then you get a really tight ridge line. And to tie it off, I'll try and get this in a good position for you so you can see. To tie it off, when you come back, that line that you threaded through, going this on this side because it should be on the left, or the side you're working on rather. Right, now that's your loop there, and this is your free end coming through it. Once that's tight enough, you take a loop from the rest of the free end up and back through itself. See if I can zoom in on this for you. Right, don't know if you can see that. Right, there's your loop. Yeah, that's your free end coming through it. You pull in on this lower one to tighten it. And then you make a loop like this, like a bite through the cordage, and that goes up past the line, over the line, and back through this loop, like so. And that will hold it pretty tight as it is, but you can make another loop with the rest of your free line, and pull it through this loop and pull the whole lot tight, just to give you that extra bit of security. so you know it's not going to go anywhere. There you go. Nice tight line. Okay, once the ridge line's up, you can attach your tarp to it. And you can do that a number of ways. You can either use the toggle method I showed you in my other video, an overnighter in the woods, or you can do what I normally do, is have little mini carabiners attached to all of the ridgeline mounting points on my tarp, like that. And they simply clip over, you simply clip them over the ridgeline, and that's your tarp suspended. Like so. And once your tarp's up, you tension it out on either side, and if you've got a long enough gap, you can use a little prusik loop, which is just, well, you'll probably know what a prusik loop is. If not, I can show you in another video. But I don't normally use those. I normally just tie a line through the carabiner or the hanging loop on each end and tighten that around the tree, and I'll show you that as well. Normally it's an E-vent hitch that I use for those, because they don't have to be super tight, because otherwise you just pull the eyelets out of your tarp. But I'll do that now. Now you don't need massive lengths of paracord for that, or whatever cordage you're using. So little tiny bits that you have left over from either making bracelets or where you've cut cord to length before, well, that sort of, even half of that would probably be enough. And again, I normally have a loop already tied in one end, so I just wrap that end. I'll unravel this. So I normally pass this end around the tree and then thread the free end back through it. Like so. And then you put a slight amount of tension across the ridge of your tarp just to hold it nice and level. And I'll do the same to the other end, and you'll see what I mean. And the joy about these things is they're easy to adjust. Not as easy as a prusik loop, but as I say, I haven't got enough room on the ends of my ridgeline between these trees for a prusik loop. I'll show you the guy lines next. Now, what I'll try and do with my guys is use existing trees or branches or roots, maybe that exposed roots that are solid in the ground, rather than driving a peg in, just purely because it's easier and there's less to set up and take away with you, and it's using what's already there. You're not damaging anything. So, and I'll just show you this quickly. My guy lines are set up again with a small carabiner on the end, and that just aids clipping them onto the attachment loops on the corners of the tarp, and it lets me change them between tarp quite easily. But you can use the toggle method again, or you can just tie them straight on. It's totally up to you, however you want to do it. But this is the knot I use for my guy lines. It's an adjustable knot, There are several names for it: the tightening line hitch, the Corley hitch, but I've always known it as an adjustable knot. It's a slight variation on another hitch, an adjustable hitch, but a quick release version of it. And I'll just show you what that is. You obviously take your line round your peg, or your branch, in this case tree, and you lay your free end over the top of the main line, the tight line, and you thread it through the loop that you've just created 3 times, well, minimum of 3 times. You can do it 4 times, doesn't matter, but a minimum of 3 times. And on the next pass, so in this case the 4th pass, you maintain the loop at the top of it, bring the free end underneath again, and make another loop and slide that through the loop you've just created. And pull all that tight, and you have an adjustable hitch, which does the same as a figure of 9 that you get on a guy line on a normal tent, but it's less plastic components, less chance of breakages or slippages, and less weight to carry, really. I'll show you a close-up of that now. Okay, now hopefully you'll be able to see this. This is your tight line going to the tarp, the taut line, and this is your free end, the working end. And what you do is you can go underneath the taut line. You can go over the top, it doesn't really make any difference. It's the same idea, it's just upside down basically. But so in this one, over the top, then you'll take the free end and wrap it up between the gap. That's once, twice, 3 times, and then on the next turn round, you can wrap it over your finger on this line, bring the free end all the way underneath and make another loop, pass that through the loop that you've just wrapped around your finger or thumb, whatever, and then pull the lot tight. And that will give you an adjustable loop, which will, so you can put as much, well, you can put pretty much as much pressure as you want on the tarp, but you can still adjust it or loosen it off if you want to. It's the same idea as a prusik knot, prusik loop, but it doesn't require a one continual tied loop of cordage. Okay. Moving on to the hammock. The way I normally hang my hammock, well, every time I hang my usual hammock, I use homemade tree huggers, which are straps of webbing. This is 50mm webbing because it's strong, and it's also a lot lighter than the webbing or rope, cordage, whatever it is you get in the hammock that you buy straight off the shelf. Each one of these was probably about 3 meters, I'd say, maybe a little bit more, and they're folded in half, tied together at the end. I've just used a normal reef knot, and then knotted with a simple overhand knot every so often down the length, apart from the last part because it's not really needed to be knotted there. And how they work is you pass them around the tree like so, and with the loop you have, you thread the rest of it through it, which is simple. It's really simple, and that'll just hang there all by itself twice. Like so. Then you simply clip the carabiner of your hammock onto it. Now here you'll see the join with the 2 carabiners, and I normally use 2 carabiners because it gives you that little bit of adjustment, like here. As you can see, the hammock's not very tight over there, and there's not a knot there to adjust it onto. So the easiest thing to do is simply take out a carabiner each end, and the other carabiner can stay somewhere else. And I'll tighten up the other end in the same way. And that will give you a tight enough hammock to lay in. So you don't need your hammock ultra tight, not once it's worn in a bit. I mean, the webbing cordage rope that you get with the hammock as standard will stretch some, but these straps, the tree huggers, they won't stretch. And on my hammock I have spreader bars, homemade spreader bars, which is just an aluminium tube all the way through with a steel sleeve on it, and in the edges of the sleeve, where I've stopped the sleeve around about an inch in from the side, from the ends, slid on the loop of this breakaway cable, which you can get from most caravan outlets or camping shops, and then placed another part of sleeving on the outside just to stop it sliding off. And this breakaway cable will take 450 kilos of weight, and that's doubled over, so it'll be twice that, so it's not going to snap under my weight. And that's my hammock setup. Okay, thanks for watching. Any questions, feel free to post comments and let me know what you think. Alright, thanks, cheers.